June 24th, 1947. Beverly Hills, California. A quiet residential street sits under the dim glow of porch lights. The air is still, the kind of silence that feels unnatural. Inside a modest house on Linden Drive, a window is open. A single shot cracks through the night. Then another. Glass shatters. Curtains ripple. And in seconds, it's over. A man lies on the floor, bleeding beside his sofa. His name was Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. And, for a brief moment in history, he controlled Las Vegas. Years earlier, Las Vegas was nothing more than a desert stopover. A dusty town carved out of Nevada's emptiness. Railroad workers, drifters, and gamblers passed through. But nobody stayed. The Mafia saw something different. Opportunity. By the early 1940s, organized crime syndicates, especially the Chicago outfit and the Genovese crime family, were looking for new ways to launder money. Illegal gambling operations in New York and Chicago were generating millions. But hiding that money was becoming harder. They needed legitimacy. They needed distance. They needed Las Vegas. Benjamin Siegel wasn't just another gangster. He was charismatic, violent, unpredictable. Born in Brooklyn, he grew up in the same brutal streets that shaped men like Meyer Lansky. Together, they formed alliances that would define organized crime in America. By the 1930s, Siegel had already built a reputation. He was involved in bootlegging, murder-for-hire operations, and enforcement for the National Crime Syndicate. But Siegel had something most mobsters didn't: vision. He didn't just want money. He wanted something bigger, something permanent. Las Vegas, Nevada. Siegel arrives in the desert with a plan, backed financially by mob investors, including Meyer Lansky and figures tied to the Chicago outfit. He sets out to build something unprecedented. A luxury casino, not just a gambling hall, a destination. He called it the Flamingo. At the time, the idea seemed insane. Lavish hotels didn't belong in the desert. High-end entertainment didn't belong in Nevada. But Siegel pushed forward anyway. Construction began quickly. Money flowed in from across the country, millions of dollars from Mafia-backed sources. And just as quickly, the costs spiraled out of control. Suppliers complained. Contractors demanded more money. Shipments disappeared. Every delay meant more spending. The original budget doubled, then tripled. And soon, whispers began circulating back east. Where's the money going? New York. In smoke-filled back rooms, powerful men started asking questions. Figures connected to the Lucchese crime family and the Genovese organization were growing uneasy. Millions had been invested into Siegel's project, but there were no returns. Only delays, only excuses, only more requests for money. Meyer Lansky, Siegel's closest ally, tried to calm the situation. He's building something big, Lansky assured them. He just needs time. But time was something the Mafia didn't give freely. December 26th, 1946. Opening night. The Flamingo finally opens its doors. Hollywood stars arrive. Wealthy gamblers fly in. The press gathers. For one night, it looks like Siegel was right. But behind the scenes, everything is falling apart. The hotel isn't finished. Rooms are incomplete. Staff are unprepared. And within weeks, the Flamingo is hemorrhaging money. The casino shuts down shortly after opening. Losses pile up. Investors grow furious. And suspicion turns into something far more dangerous. He's skimming, someone says quietly during a meeting. The word hangs in the air. Skimming. The act of secretly taking money before it's counted. In Mafia terms, it's theft. And theft from the organization carries only one consequence. Back in Las Vegas, Siegel refuses to back down. He doubles down on the project. More money is requested. More pressure builds. But Siegel remains defiant. He insists the Flamingo will succeed. He believes in the vision, even as the walls close in around him. Meanwhile, law enforcement begins to take interest. The Flamingo isn't just a casino. It's a symbol, a visible connection between organized crime and legitimate business. The Federal Bureau of Investigation starts monitoring activities tied to known mob figures. Financial transactions are tracked. Associates are watched. And Siegel's name appears again and again and again. But the real danger isn't the FBI. It's coming from inside the organization. New York, early 1947. A quiet meeting takes place. High-ranking Mafia figures gather to discuss the situation. The verdict is simple. The Flamingo was supposed to generate profit. Instead, it became a liability. Millions of dollars were unaccounted for, and Benjamin Siegel was at the center of it. Meyer Lansky is given one final task. Talk to him, find out the truth, and report back. Lansky travels west. He meets Siegel privately. The conversation is tense. No shouting, no threats, just quiet words exchanged between two men who had built their empire together. Lansky asks the question directly. Are you taking money? Siegel denies everything. He insists the losses are real. Construction costs, operational mistakes, bad luck. But Lansky isn't fully convinced, and neither are the men waiting for his answer. When Lansky returns to New York, he delivers his report. Siegel denies skimming, but the numbers don't add up. The decision is no longer emotional. It's business. And in the Mafia, business is absolute. Back in Las Vegas, the Flamingo reopens. This time, it begins to show signs of success. Guests return. Revenue starts to climb. For the first time, the vision is working. But it's too late. The decision has already been made. June 20th, 1947. Orders are given. Quietly. Without ceremony. Benjamin Siegel is to be eliminated. No warnings. No second chances. No negotiations. 4 days later, Beverly Hills. A man stands outside a house, watching, waiting. Inside, Siegel sits comfortably, reading a newspaper. He has no idea. Not yet. Because in the world he helped build, loyalty is temporary, power is borrowed, and betrayal is always waiting. The desert empire had risen fast, but now it was about to collapse, and the man who built it was about to pay the price. June 24th, 1947, 9 p.m., Beverly Hills, California. The lights inside the house are warm, soft, ordinary. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel sits near the window, a newspaper resting loosely in his hands. The room is quiet, almost peaceful. Outside, it's anything but. A dark figure moves through the shadows across the street. No footsteps, no hesitation, just patience. Inside, Siegel leans back. He had survived too much to feel afraid now. Brooklyn street wars, prohibition killings, contract murders, power struggles across New York and Los Angeles. Men like him didn't die easily. At least, that's what he believed. But far away, in New York, his fate had already been sealed. Early June 1947, New York City. A meeting is called between powerful figures connected to the National Crime Syndicate. Representatives tied to the Genovese crime family, the Chicago outfit, and other syndicate interests sit together. No raised voices, no arguments, just quiet agreement. Benjamin Siegel had become a liability. The Flamingo project had drained millions. Even if the casino was beginning to turn a profit, trust had already been broken. And in the Mafia, trust is everything. One man carries the weight of the decision more than anyone else. Meyer Lansky, Siegel's friend, his partner, his brother in everything but blood. Lansky had defended him, protected him, bought him time. But now, there was no time left. He had his chance, someone says during the meeting. No one disagrees. The order is approved. Silently. Final. Back in California, nothing appears unusual. Siegel continues his routine. He visits Las Vegas, checks on the Flamingo, walks through the casino floor, observing dealers, guests, and operations. For a brief moment, it seems like everything is stabilizing. Revenue is improving. The hotel is filling. The dream is finally becoming real. But Siegel doesn't see the shift happening around him. Men begin to distance themselves. Phone calls become shorter. Meetings become less frequent. Associates avoid eye contact. Subtle changes. The kind that only matter when it's already too late. Los Angeles, mid-June 1947. Surveillance reports from the Federal Bureau of Investigation begin noting increased activity around known organized crime figures. Agents observe movements tied to West Coast operations. Names connected to Siegel appear in reports. But the Bureau is always one step behind. They see the movement. They don't see the meaning. Meanwhile, the real operation unfolds quietly. No public discussions. No written orders. Only word-of-mouth instructions passed through trusted channels. The way it had always been done. The decision isn't about anger. It's about discipline. The Mafia cannot allow failure on that scale. It cannot allow suspicion of theft, and it cannot allow a man, even someone as powerful as Siegel, to challenge the structure. Late June 1947. The plan is set. The location is chosen. Beverly Hills. Not Las Vegas. Not New York. California. A place where Siegel feels safe. The message is clear. No one is untouchable. June 24th, 1947. Evening. Siegel is staying at the home of his girlfriend, Virginia Hill. She isn't there that night. The house feels empty. Still, Siegel sits in the living room. A drink nearby. The newspaper open. Stories about post-war America fill the pages. Business, politics, reconstruction, none of it matters. Outside, a car slows down briefly, then continues. The neighborhood remains calm. No alarms, no warnings. Across the street, a man positions himself carefully. He knows exactly where to stand, exactly where to aim. This isn't his first job. Inside, Siegel shifts slightly in his chair. He turned a page, unaware. At approximately 10:45 p.m., the silence breaks. A burst of gunfire shatters the glass window. Multiple shots tear through the room. The sound echoes violently across the quiet street. Siegel never has time to react. Bullets strike him in the head and body. One shot destroys his eye. Another tears through his skull. The force throws him backward. The newspaper falls to the floor. And just like that, it's over. The shooter disappears into the night. No witnesses step forward. No immediate arrests are made. The street returns to silence. But inside the house, everything has changed. Police arrive quickly. The scene is brutal. Glass everywhere. Blood across the floor. Furniture damaged. Officers confirm the identity. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, dead at the scene. News spreads fast. From Beverly Hills to Las Vegas to New York. In Las Vegas, something strange happens. Within hours of Siegel's death, mob-controlled interests move swiftly. The Flamingo changes hands. Control is transferred away from Siegel's influence. Operations stabilize. The casino begins generating real profit. It was never just about the murder. It was about control. Back east, there is no mourning, no public acknowledgement, only quiet understanding. The system had corrected itself. Meyer Lansky receives the news. He doesn't speak publicly. He doesn't attend any funeral in a visible way. But those who knew him understood this was personal. Two men who built an empire together, now separated by a single decision. Law enforcement begins investigating immediately. The Los Angeles Police Department works alongside federal authorities. Witnesses are questioned. Ballistics are examined. Connections to organized crime are explored. But the case stalls quickly. No weapon is recovered. No suspect is charged. No one talks. Because in the world of organized crime, silence is survival. Rumors circulate. Names are whispered. Some believe the order came directly from New York. Others suspect involvement from West Coast operatives tied to syndicate interests. But nothing is proven. The official case remains unsolved. And yet, everyone in that world already knows the truth. Benjamin Siegel had built something extraordinary. He saw the future of Las Vegas before anyone else. He turned desert into opportunity. But he forgot one rule. The Mafia doesn't reward vision. It rewards obedience. And in the end, that was the difference between life and death. The Flamingo would go on to become one of the most successful casinos in Las Vegas history. A foundation for an empire that would grow far beyond anything Siegel imagined. But he would never see it, because the empire he created was never really his. And the betrayal that ended his life was already written long before the first brick was laid. June 25th, 1947. Morning. Beverly Hills, California. Sunlight cuts through broken glass. Police officers move slowly through the house on Linden Drive. Evidence markers sit beside shattered window frames. Blood has dried across the carpet. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel is gone. But the questions remain. Within hours, news spreads across the country. Headlines are blunt. Gangster slain in Beverly Hills. Reporters gather outside the property. Cameras flash. Neighbors whisper. To the public, it's another mob killing. To those inside organized crime, it's a message. Las Vegas, Nevada. The reaction is immediate. At the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, something shifts overnight. Control changes hands. No announcements. No paperwork filed in public view. Just quiet replacements. Managers loyal to Siegel are removed. New faces appear, men connected to the Chicago outfit and Eastern Syndicate interests. The money starts flowing, properly this time. Within months, the Flamingo stabilizes. Revenue increases. Operations tighten. The chaos that once surrounded the project disappears. What Siegel had struggled to complete, others now refine into a machine. The dream works, just not for him. New York City, summer 1947. Inside private social clubs, the subject is discussed in hushed tones. No one says his name too loudly. No one questions the outcome. The ruling had been made, and it had been carried out. Meyer Lansky continues his operations quietly. He never publicly acknowledges Siegel's death in any emotional way. But those close to him understood something had changed. This wasn't just business. It was the cost of business. Because in the structure of organized crime, no relationship outweighs the organization itself. Not friendship, not loyalty, not history. Back in California, the investigation struggles to gain ground. The Los Angeles Police Department interviews witnesses. Ballistics reports confirm the weapon used, a high-powered rifle fired from outside the home. The angle is precise, professional. The Federal Bureau of Investigation becomes involved soon after. Agents begin mapping connections. They trace Siegel's known associates. They examine financial ties to Las Vegas. They follow leads back to New York. But every path leads to silence. No witnesses cooperate. No insider talks. No paper trail exists. The case begins to stall, and then it fades. Officially, Benjamin Siegel's murder remains unsolved. Unofficially, everyone knows exactly why it happened. Las Vegas, late 1940s and the 1950s. The city begins to transform. New casinos rise from the desert. The model Siegel helped create, luxury resorts tied to gambling, becomes the standard. Organized crime expands its reach. Money flows from Las Vegas back to Chicago, New York, and beyond. The system works perfectly. Cash is generated, skimmed, distributed. Names like Tony Accardo and Frank Costello emerge as powerful figures benefiting from the expansion. They operate behind the scenes, rarely seen, never careless. Unlike Siegel, because Siegel had been visible, flashy, ambitious. He had lived like a movie star, and in doing so, he broke one of the unwritten rules. Never draw too much attention. The Mafia didn't just remove a problem, it corrected a mistake. Over time, Las Vegas grows into something far beyond its origins. A city of lights, of spectacle, of illusion. Millions of visitors arrive every year. They see the glamour, the entertainment, the wealth. But beneath it all lies a different foundation, built on hidden money, on backroom deals, on violence. The Flamingo still stands as part of that legacy, a symbol of what was created and what was taken. Virginia Hill, Siegel's girlfriend, faces intense scrutiny after his death. Authorities question her repeatedly. Her finances are examined. Her connections to the mob are explored. But like everyone else connected to the case, she says nothing. Eventually, she leaves the United States. Distance becomes her protection. Silence becomes her shield. Years pass. The case remains closed, unsolved. But historians and investigators continue to revisit it. Theories emerge. Names are suggested. Some point toward orders originating from New York. Others believe West Coast figures helped execute the plan. No theory is ever confirmed, because confirmation would require something the Mafia never gives: admission. And without it, the truth exists only in fragments. Benjamin Siegel is buried in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. His grave becomes a quiet reminder of a violent life. Visitors come and go, some out of curiosity, some out of fascination with the legend. But the reality is far simpler. He was a man who rose quickly, saw further than others, and paid the price for stepping outside the rules. Because in organized crime, success is never enough. You must also survive the system that created you. Las Vegas continued without him. The Mafia continued without him. The empire grew stronger, more efficient, more disciplined. And that is the final irony. The man who helped build the future of Las Vegas was not allowed to be part of it. Closing narration. In the world of organized crime, power is never owned. It is borrowed, watched, measured, and the moment it becomes a threat, it is taken back. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel built an empire in the desert, but the empire was never his. And when the time came, it didn't hesitate to erase him. In the decades that followed, Las Vegas would slowly slip out of Mafia hands. Federal crackdowns intensified, hidden microphones, undercover informants, financial audits. The system that once operated in shadows was dragged into the light. By the 1970s and 1980s, cases like the FBI's investigations into casino skimming began to expose the inner workings of organized crime in Las Vegas. Figures tied to the Chicago outfit were indicted. Others disappeared quietly. The era of open mob control was ending, but the foundation remained. Every neon light, every casino floor, every high-stakes table, all built on the same original blueprint. Benjamin Siegel never lived to see the fall of Mafia Vegas, but his vision outlived the men who ordered his death. Because history doesn't remember who followed the rules. It remembers who changed the game. And in the end, Bugsy Siegel didn't just build a casino. He built a city, one that would rise from the desert and never look back.